The Angry Chicken Hearthstone podcast is produced by amove.tv. Check out amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. For more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit jossplays.com. And to find many more podcasts with Ridiculous Hat, follow @RidiculousHat on Twitter. Every episode of TAC is made possible thanks to our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Legendary!
You face Jaraxxus. You smell like a leper gnome. I knew it. So
A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. This is The Angry Chicken!
Greetings and welcome back, everybody. This is indeed, as the disembodied voice said, TAC. I'm Garrett, here as always, with Jocelyn and RidiculousHat. All three of us are back. Hat, are you okay? You all right, man? You were sick, but not with COVID. Like that really specific declaration we all need to make when we're not feeling good nowadays, for many days.
Yeah, it's so like I don't know what it is. I should probably go to a doctor, but just I had a cold and then it just didn't go away and I felt awful for 9 days, which is
That's
a bunch
a really
of days.
long time.
It was terrible. And I'm still like I'm Dayquil'd up right now. You can probably tell a little bit. That I got some Dayquil and I'm figuring it out, getting through it. It's nice to be just back in the swing of things, so to speak, but I don't feel super in the swing of things. So I don't know, man. Like it's when you ask, "Are you okay?" Like I'm here. I'm happy to talk to you too. But in terms of if I was rating how I physically feel right now on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd be like a high 6-ish, like in the 6 range. So it's fine. But winter sucks, and it's very wintry here. It's very wintry. We got 5.5 more weeks, I guess.
Might I suggest making like 20% of all license plates I see on the road and just spending many months down here?
I could do that, but my job is not super work from homeable. It is actually in like a physical building that stays in the same place.
Ah,
And
okay.
that
What if
place
you
is not
spent
in
winter
Florida.
here and then the other seasons too?
I think he's just saying move to Florida.
I mean, it's a
I
fix
could-
if you can't work from home.
It's different. I'll take it into advisement.
Listen,
yeah,
it's
gotta look at-
budget California, okay? You get warm weather, you get palm trees, and you get
Too much moisture.
You used to get affordable living.
Yeah. This is quite the sales pitch. I think you should have started with Publix.
Okay.
Because
Publix,
that is yeah.
every lake comes with at least 2 gators.
Is that a selling point?
Yeah, I'm curious.
It depends. How much
Is
do you
that a
like small
plus or a
dogs?
minus?
How much do you like small dogs and children? That's
Zero.
what depends. All right, then it's a plus.
I mean, I enjoy the dogs, and I don't begrudge anyone their children. I don't have any of my own, and I'm cool with that. But I don't want, even if I disliked, I wouldn't want them being consumed by a large reptile that's just around.
Yeah, no,
Like, that's
Garrett
not-
stuck children in there real fast after small dogs.
I need to-
was like,
yeah, I need to
I'm
defer.
a terrible person.
Listen, I've managed to keep all of my tiny chihuahuas very safe. It's fine.
Yeah, well, are they safe from the mango pollen?
They are now. That tree's gone.
But I know there was like the cloud, the
Oh
the
yeah,
specter
no, that's
of the mango tree floating
Are we
over
gonna
your
get
house.
that specific? Are we doing Welcome to Home Improvement with Garrett, where maybe we'll get off
Okay,
topic
listen,
and talk Hearthstone.
I listened to last week's show. There was a lot of de-treeing talk. I felt left out. I want to know what's going on with your mango atomized remnants.
We had a mango tree
Which is
taken
a
out.
very strange
Yeah.
sentence now that I think
no,
about
it's
it.
still totally there, man. It hasn't rained much. It's horrible. It's the pits. Keeping our pineapple tree plants alive, though. Keeping our pineapple plants alive. Hey, how's Hearthstone going for anyone? What Hearthstone are you playing?
Oh yeah.
I guess is probably a better question because everyone I talk to is just kind of waiting. I feel like everyone's in. It's like that scene of Beetlejuice You're just in the waiting room. You know, maybe you're not dead. That's a little morbid, but that's when I think waiting room, that's the first thing that comes to mind is just, hey, when are we done with Librams?
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's a whole other waiting room to the waiting room we're currently in, right? Like, we're waiting on the mini set in terms of standard. You're talking about the full-on rotation, which is even further away.
Yeah, I have
Not that much further.
I have my reservations that someone that's just kind of bored with the state of things, that a mini set is going to cure what ails me.
So this thing called the show notes, and there's a standard section. Are we doing that now, or should we do that then? Because
I didn't know how else to pivot into Hearthstone talk, because I could have sat here continuing to talk about the trials and tribulations of de-treeing a yard, but
you could have just been like, "Let's mango," and then you know.
I'm done. I quit. I can't do better than that.
Yeah, Garrett's actually gone now. Okay, so we'd like to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/tag for being epic supporters.
Oh, we're getting paid now. Okay, hold on. I'm back.
Oh.
Continue. I just want to be here for this.
I was just trying to keep things going, man.
Yeah, patreon.com/TAC if you want to support listen, I know we get off topic a lot, but the truth of the matter is it's really expensive to get rid of trees. So if you want to help cover that and also support Ridiculous Hat, Jocelyn, and myself, check out patreon.com/TAC. You'll get access to our patron-only Discord server, an ad-free version of the show. That's right, you get like an RSS feed just for you. It doesn't have a bow on top because it's a digital good, but you can imagine a digital bow on top of your digital good, and you get the show automatically. You plug it into your podcatcher of choice, and you get the show like normal, but it doesn't have ads in it because you're supporting us. And the streak continues. This is the most new patrons we've had like in a row, basically since we've launched the Patreon, which was years ago. This is a really old show. I don't know if you know this, but 453, that's the number of weeks we've done plus extra. Because one time we thought it would be smart to do a Brawl podcast. That was a terrible idea.
Not.
It was a really bad idea. Yeah.
So on the one hand, contextually, there were 6 fewer modes in Hearthstone back then.
Yes, that is
But on
true.
the other hand,
it was brand
contextually
spanking new and crazy at the time.
Yeah.
right. But on the other hand, it was still a terrible idea, even knowing that now. It was still just not enough content. Even though I liked listening to all the hosts an extra time per week, they were just like, "Oh, it's randomonium again."
We got
It would have
nothing.
been more entertaining if we talked about the mango tree.
Yes, indeed. So anyways, it's really exciting when we get new patrons because we don't really have like huge surges like we used to. So Kyle Roberts, Womperat, David Goldberg, and Jeffrey Van Prate, thank you so much for signing up over at patreon.com/TAC and supporting us. And let's get into this week's news, which will just be picking up.
I have a segue.
What? Oh,
I have a segue. I know I'm interrupting you, but
I hear they're hard to
just
ride.
thought of this, and I have to say this because I have an affliction where I think of a pun and I have to say it. So if you want to help Garrett pay to get a tree off his yard, you have to join our Patreon. Patreon.
Oh, Patreon. Oh,
Yeah.
Boy, imagine had you not set that up, how well it would have landed.
Yeah. Probably not all that well, and I don't think it landed all that well here. Let's go to the news.
Good news, everyone!
Well, let's just go right back to that mini set waiting room discussion since I already kind of ruined it. Let's just pick it right back up there. What's everyone playing? Because I'm just Battlegrounds. That's it. That's all I'm interested in. That's all I'm playing right now. What are y'all? Are you keeping the standard dream alive?
Mostly. Sometimes. I'm about 50-50 right now with my standard time versus my Battlegrounds time. I mean, Battlegrounds had their whole big buddy patch, right? So considering that's my probably second most played mode, I'm like, can't ignore that. So definitely slacked off on the standard side of things a little bit. Finished up last month, did fine. Got my 10 bonus stars again for this month, and I haven't really touched standard too much in the first week of the new season, honestly. I have an issue, I guess, with standard Hearthstone where I don't like to play the same deck for more than a month, even if the meta dictates I probably should. I kind of get bored. So, but I'm also one of those kind of people that doesn't like to play 3 or 4 things at once. So I kind of want to like play something, get good at it, play a whole bunch of it, move on. That doesn't necessarily always fit with the way that Hearthstone works, but that is where I find my happy place. So I'm kind of looking for my next big thing to play now that I've kind of done the Beast Druid thing.
So Miniset may really like work for you, because if it creates just one new deck that jives with your playstyle, you'll be a happy Hearthstone camper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if?
Well, and I can say pretty confidently there are so many decks in Standard. There's probably something else for you to jump to now, like if you wanted to, that you haven't played a lot of before, because this Standard has a lot of options.
I did try Handlock, just the most popular quest warlock on HS Replay, but there's a lot of aggro. And I found myself helping my opponent too much. And then my face was dead. So, yeah. And whether that was just like me not knowing what to draw, or the fact that I just like, I got Face Hunter, Drekthar, Crazy Aggro Druid, and Face Hunter again.
I see you're trying to reduce my life total.
My face is sore.
Would you like help with that?
Now I need a Clippy from my Warlock hero.
You are Clippy. That's it. Everyone's been joking about when are we going to get Clippy in a Blizzard game with the Microsoft. It's already here, and it's Warlock going into aggro decks.
Yeah.
And if they're Face Hunter, then yeah, you're not happy about the damage from hand. If they're usually like the wide board decks, you kind of don't care about Trog as much because you just soul rend them. And you kind of want to get through your deck a little faster. I've done a bunch of coachings on it. It's a difficult deck to play, and there's a lot of nuance to it and a lot of dynamic replayability because you can heal a ton and you can churn through the deck very, very quickly. Like if you soul rend for 7,
I was dead by turn 4 in every game.
Well,
like
that happens pretty fast.
There was no churning, there was no healing, there was just I have a drain soul. That'll give me 3 back, but you still have 6 more 1/1s on the board, and that's just eventually gonna murder me. And you're buffing them now. That's great. That's definitely what I want to see.
Just sitting over there like a proud teacher. I'm so proud of you. Look at you go.
Keeping a lot of those games Hunter dreams alive.
A lot of those games come down to like soul rend or no if they're the board deck, and if they have a lot of burn, like aim shot is not what you want to run into. It's just not the thing that you want to see.
Yeah, I was like a couple of times I was like, okay, if they just don't top deck 3 damage. Oh wait, their entire deck is just damage.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about top decking if your entire deck is the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Standard it's in an interesting spot because academically speaking, there are probably like 30 decks in the format. There is a lot to do. But are any of them really that novel or interesting, or is there enough to draw people into queuing right now? That I think there's less of. And this is something that we've talked about in the show before a little bit, that I've been seeing a lot of confusion of what do I do? Because Garrett, I think it was you that said a couple times, you prefer it. I think actually both of you prefer it when there's a best deck that you want to beat and that you know you can go do a thing and beat that deck. And right now,
so you can either kind of like either you play that deck or you play the counter to that deck, and just whichever one fits your play style better, you know. And it can be a little bit of a boring meta for sure, but if I'm looking to consistently climb, that's definitely the kind of meta I want to do it in. This meta is so hard because it's like you have no idea what you're going to face. Everybody's strategy is a little bit different. The stuff that's good against half the field's not good against the other half of the field. Like, man, it's nice to have so many options, but at the same time, it's like I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I think maybe Freeze Shaman is the answer. I don't know.
Oh God. Yeah.
Garrett just threw up in his mouth. It's gonna take him a minute to recover.
The way Brian Kibler feels about quests is how I feel about anything with freeze in it, like anything at all.
So I was listening to last week's episode about this. So I know that we've talked about Free Shaman a bunch, but I want to distill that a little bit. It's the card Snowfall Guardian. That's the card you're thinking of right there. It's like Wildpaw Caverns. If you bloom it out on one, yeah, it's a lot, but that doesn't come up all that much in my experience. And if they have it on 4, like, it's annoying, but you can kind of deal with it. It is the card Snowfall Guardian, followed potentially by some birds that do more Snowfall
Do the
Guardian
same
things.
thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is that mass
Let's
board
be honest.
freeze.
The wind, much like in real life, the wind chill is still pretty annoying.
It's annoying. But, like, if you get Sleep Breaker, you're not like, oh, I'm uninstalling the game. But Snowfall Guardian into bird, especially if you're playing a lot of Paladin, your cards just don't work for 3 turns. That's unpleasant. We're not thrilled about that. A Sleep Breaker, it's like, okay, they got a wind chill in hand. I can do something about that. I can do this here. I can do this there. It's a targeted single freeze as opposed to my cards don't work and you have a 9/9 now. And I think that is a very reasonable thing to be upset by. And also, that card used to cost 5 somehow. I don't know how, but it did. Yeah. So there are new cards that are good. There are old cards that are good. There are new strategies that are good. There are old strategies that are good. Objectively, academically, however you want to call it, like, you can look at this form and be like, wow, this is pretty balanced. I'm facing a wide variety of opponents, but there's not really a lot that makes me want to queue. And the reason that we get so excited around rotations and expansions is that there's new stuff that we want to do. And when you lose that over the time, over an expansion's release cycle, then you focus more on the things that you don't want to see that make you stop playing. It's not what gets me to keep playing, it's what gets me to stop playing. And so right now we're in this weird 10-month period into the year where we all know a mini set is right around the corner, but also rotations in probably under 2 months by now, probably the last week of March.
I would describe it as Hearthstone senioritis.
Yeah.
We're not that far out from a massive upheaval, a bunch of stuff that we just don't care about anymore going away. But for right now, it's still here and we have to contend with it. Yes, I am in my final year of a master's course.
I could tell.
Yeah.
But there are other modes too, and I have not felt quite so overwhelmed by all the things I want to do in Hearthstone in a while. I'm playing a lot of duels. I know.
I
But
just got to the part of the Lunar New Year quest where it told me I had to play duels, and I was like, do I really?
I X'd out
Which
of
I'm
it
sure
on
is
my
how,
European
like,
account.
BG players. I'm sure that's how, like, BG players and arena players and duels players and Mercs players feel when they first load up a legendary quest and it says, play 3 games of standard Hearthstone, and they're like, no, I refuse. But I mean, yeah, maybe it's just me and looking at it weirdly, but I feel like the quests used to be more interesting. Like, you were doing stuff in the mode of your choice as opposed to play 3 games of this mode, play 3 games of that mode, play 3 games of this other mode. Now you get a pack.
It speaks to, I think, the challenge of having so many completely different modes in Hearthstone. And I don't mean duels, because duels still abides by big quotations here, classic Hearthstone rules. It is a classic Hearthstone game, a classic Hearthstone cards, and you're putting cards at your
cards and mana,
combat, spell-based combat, mana curve, all that jazz. Your standards, your wilds, your arenas, your duels, they all abide by the backbone that is traditional Hearthstone. But then we also have mercenaries and we have battlegrounds, which are just completely unrelated, really, at the end of the day. Battlegrounds used to be tangentially because we did have some 1-to-1 minions, but that was really about it. And that's like, we're way beyond that at this point. I think that speaks to that. And this week, I've been, I'm still playing over on my European account in Battlegrounds because, honestly, at this point, I think it's really imbalanced, and it tilts me to play on my main account. So I just play over there because I don't worry about getting one of the bottom 75% heroes, which are just so much worse than the top 25% that it's like not even funny. I'm really enjoying buddies, by the way. This sounds defeatist, but mad anxiety, mad ladder anxiety for Battlegrounds for me right now. Anyway, so I'm over on my European account, and it's the first time really ever I've felt like, boy, I wish everything I could just convert to gold, because I'm getting packs from these quests, and I do not care at all. I'm getting packs from quests that ask me to go play Battlegrounds, and I'm like, this is a Battlegrounds account, and boy, howdy, does this stuff just not matter to me? And so it's interesting, and it's whatever. It's a time for me personally. As a real Hearthstone player, it's whatever. It's a side account. It doesn't really matter to me. But I could see where if you were a Battlegrounds only player, or a Mercenaries only player, or a Constructed only player, yeah, that this stuff would be getting kind of long in the tooth. Where you just go, why isn't Mercenaries its own standalone game? Why isn't Battlegrounds its own standalone game? And you know, we know the practical answer for that because it was all built in Hearthstone. It's built on the same platform. But
we do have an email today about what it's like for free to play players. So maybe the rest of the discussion can kind of go there because I do have some points and things that maybe they could do to fix it. But I think that's maybe for later in the show. Hat, do you have any suggestions for what somebody should play on ladder right now?
What you want to play, and don't switch because you think the meta is not conducive to it, because there's no amount of games you can queue that's the sample size to see everything that's out there. Like, play what you want to play, and it's probably fine. Unless you were like, if you're trying to come up with Master Tour qualifiers lineups, then talk in our Patreon Discord. But if you're just looking for your just general day-to-day laddering, you can play whatever you want. I have been winning in top 100 with Big Demon Hunter and Hand Buff Paladin. So you can play whatever you want. It just does not matter.
Which is either a good thing or a bad thing. So you said that people in the Discord have been talking about Master Tour because that is coming up not this weekend, but next weekend, right? So also probably no mini set until after that.
They haven't, but I wanted to avoid trying to dive into the specifics of lineup construction here on the live show. But like, if you're looking to like win in Legend or whatever, then I don't know, go to HS Replay and see what it says to do. Like, figure out what deck you are the best at any given moment. I know that Buff Paladin is actually quite good right now. Handlock is overrated, but still very strong. Like, it's a good deck, but people talk about it as though it's unbeatable. That is definitely not the case.
As my face can attest, yes.
As you can attest to. If I look at the last few days, Buff Paladin and Shadow Priest are both up there. I got to Legend on the second, mostly through a combination of Shadow Priest and Quest Hunter, which were both quite fun, very different. But Shadow Priest has been the deck that's been the best for me so far. Trogon 1, very powerful. Purple Burn Spells, very powerful. Void Touch Tenant, very good. You know, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
You'll have to send me a Shadow Priest list because Priest is not very high up on the meta report on HS Replay. So you have to send me what you're playing. Because I wouldn't mind. Okay. It's been a long time since I've played a Priest deck, so I wouldn't mind doing something a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and Shadow Priest, if you were used to classic Priest archetypes, this is not that. It's
which means I might really like it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's Zoo with a shooty hero power, and you get to draw a couple more cards and play some Raised Deads and hit your opponent for a bunch of damage, which I enjoy. You get to Najak Hexen your opponent's taunts sometimes, which is really great. Strongly recommend you just boop. That's mine now for 4 mana. 4 mana. Just borrow their
they kept
Liberal
stealing Dude. They kept stealing my my 4/5 Taunty Boys in my Beastier deck. Made me sad.
Yeah. But then you get to be the stealer instead of the stealee victim. You know, whatever.
I like Steely.
Yes.
Anyone hyped for the Lunar New Year besides we talked about the quest, but we haven't really talked about, I don't know, what you can get a gold pack. We got some new skins. I think the skins are really good.
Yeah, and there's a free card back too, that if you go into the store you can redeem your free card back. So don't miss that because I think it's only in until February 16th or 18th or something. So
oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. I'm not even sure I grabbed that on my main account.
Aha!
I'm logging into my European account right now to grab it. I was already logging in so I could like look at the skins because it's rather hard to find this.
Do this. Did I get this thing? I'm going to log on my phone right now. We're all very professional.
Yeah.
Listen.
I redeemed mine on the first day.
We've got
mostly because I'm one of those people that can't stand when there's like a little notification thing. So when the shop has an exclamation mark, I'm like, I need to clear it. Oh, this is free? Sweet. Push the button.
Yes. Yeah, I am definitely the same way. I can't stand having little icons there. Which is annoying with achievements on my European account because I never check them. So that it just lives there, and it's gone too far now, and I don't feel like clearing them out.
Okay, I got it already. I claimed it already.
It's a problem. Of course you did. I don't think anyone listening is surprised.
Also, by the way, Jocelyn, I found the Descent of Dragons legendary questline. Day 1, play 30 cards in play mode. Day 2, draw 30 cards in any mode. Day 3, win 3 games in any mode. Day 4, play 20 spells in any mode. Day 5, take 50 turns. Day 6, play 100 cards. I don't know if these are better. They're less prescribed, but they probably take way longer.
Yeah, they definitely, I think, would have taken longer. But I knew there were quest lines that had stuff to do that wasn't play a certain number of games in insert mode here.
And listen, those are numbers.
Thank you, Hat.
The mode didn't exist.
If length of completion is an issue, all of those had numbers, and those could be smaller numbers.
Yeah, true.
Play through duels games, you queue in with Warlock and you just life tap and nothing else until you're dead 3 times, and then you take your packs and you're done.
But that's not fun. That's a waste of my time. I'd rather be rewarded for playing the game in an actual way that's playing the game.
You are sensible.
Fun. Let's do it.
And practical. You're a practical individual, Hat. Jocelyn, and I'm going to throw myself into this ring, are emotional. So I want to do these things, and I don't want to, so it doesn't click with me.
Get it.
I see duels and Merc stuff or arena. I'm just like, I guess I'm not doing it.
No. So I don't think there are really. We only got the Mercs quest when they launched Mercs. Since then, I think there have been actually 0 Mercs tie-in quests. I think there have been.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that's told me very specifically I need to go over to Mercs, which is good.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna see that. Like, at least with duels, players that own cards in Standard, you can play those cards in duels. Mercs is a different ballgame. And BG's players, I bet they are probably fine seeing these Standard quests because they're like, man, that looks expensive. I'm going to play my mode completely for free and unlock everything for gold and have extra left over and sit here and play BGs.
And not really care about my quests very much.
They look at those quests over there, it's like, that's a lot to keep track of. I just have my 75 buddies. That's a lot easier.
Me and my 75 friends.
Well, you only need to worry about one of them per lobby. So that's untrue. You got to worry about 7 others very particular way.
Yeah.
But
unless there's an AFK and then 6 others.
I mean, there's also Arana. Yeah. There's plenty of
There's plenty that basically don't have buddies.
Yeah, there's plenty of others where I'm just like, I don't need to worry about you. I know you've got a buddy, but
terrible.
It's fine. Yeah, AFK is. I'm surprised they kept you in. Is what I say when I see an AFK. Actually, when I see an AFK now, I go, Did you sneeze while picking?
Yeah, is this your first game back?
Did your cat
buddies
jump up on your desk and click for you? More than once?
They had a dream of getting the achievement, and you just say, "Oh, my sweet summer child." No, you're not going to get an extra turn and then win the lobby. No, you're probably not going to win the lobby even if you take that turn. No.
Yeah,
AFK,
that achievement is that's never happening.
You missed your window. We all did. I haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. You launch of Battlegrounds was really that was your best
time.
Bet.
It's at BlizzCon. You did it at BlizzCon.
Before achievements were even in the game. That was the time.
Yes.
I got an
test
achievement.
Accounts that wasn't even your own account. Just fire off that sated Threshodon on tier 5 so you can triple into the Void Lord on 6.
I got an achievement playing Battlegrounds at BlizzCon when it was announced, and it was tilting someone in the press pit so bad that they got up and said, "Okay, who's playing Murlocs?"
A grim harbinger of what was to come in the future of the mode.
Oh yeah, and I didn't even know that. Like, we still had Megasaur was in that build, and I didn't know how it worked. I saw a dinosaur and said, "That's not a Murloc," and I ignored it.
Yeah,
you still sir are not to Murloc.
Yeah. Boy, it sure sounds like we're talking about Battlegrounds.
A little bit here.
Boy, it does.
Yeah, it kind of feels like I should hover my finger over this button and go.
Have a good battle, friend.
Normally, I would ask, who wrote this question? But the wording, I know exactly who wrote this. Jocelyn, why are you calling into question the existence of balance in Hearthstone Battlegrounds?
I don't know, because I thought it would be a funny headline.
In the notes, dear
so
listeners.
Clickbaity. It's clickbaity for my co-hosts when there aren't even
Is it
things to click.
clickbaity or is it your soul laid bare for all to see?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
It can be both.
Yeah.
You
So-
don't have to choose there.
Dear listeners, under Battlegrounds, there is 14-point bold font. Balance. Does it even exist? Is what's written under Battlegrounds.
I heard it in the Joce sassy voice. Because there's
have
the
a sassy
angry voice, but then we dial that back a little bit, and that's the sassy voice.
Ah.
You're getting into it
I'm
right
learning
now.
so much. I'm learning so much about myself tonight.
Yeah. I heard it. Also, speaking as a casual BG's player that has dipped my toe in, probably not, but it's fun.
Yeah, I think
No, it is not balanced, but it is fun is definitely my take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel
That
like I'm okay. So I streamed Battlegrounds on Friday night, and I think I played 7 games, and I got 3 firsts and 3 eighths, and then 1/3 or something in the middle. And I was just like, I don't understand. Okay, one time I killed myself with demons by accident, but
Wait, really?
yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna come down on you. I did that 3 months ago. No joke. I played a demon. I was like, no shit. It just.
I was talking to chat room and I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a great turn, and I just bought a whole bunch of demons and played, and then my hero exploded, and I was like, why did that happen? Oh no.
Yeah, forgot it. You sold your Mal'Ganis. Did you have a Mal'Ganis at one point and you sold it to make room? You're like, I'll find another Mal'Ganis, and you forgot. Yeah, we all been there.
Details. But I mean, I also have a very greedy playstyle that basically either high rolls or I die.
Alexstrasza. Then we call that the Alexstrasza strategy.
Well, yeah, but with everybody.
High roll or die. Yeah.
I also I haven't really kind of, I guess, wrapped my head around buddies right yet. Mostly because I don't like staying at low tavern tiers just to flood my board with shit. Like, I would rather level and try to find direction, but that doesn't work right now at all. Unless you crazy super ultra mega high roll.
I think a good kind of general guide for most of navigating Battlegrounds right now is that leveling hasn't really changed much for everything beyond tier 2. Most heroes would go up to tier 2 on turn 2. Turn 1, buy a minion.
Right,
turn 2,
now
tavern
it
up.
feels like that's just wrong, and I'm like,
it is because you're gonna you're gonna get your buddies slower if you do that.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same reason AFK should not still be in the game. Like you're the same way AFK is doing nothing. By not buying minions on turn 2, you're doing less than you could be doing to charge up your buddy meter, because you need minions to charge up that buddy meter. And so when you're not buying minions, you're not charging up your buddy meter. I mean, you can sit there, you can play tavern tier chicken where you're just hovering over that level up button. You're like, are you going to do it? Who's going to blink first? Who's going to click first? And if
but even then, it's not even so much. I feel like Battlegrounds often used to be like, look at your opponent, look what they're playing, look what they're doing. And if they level up on a turn, you can take that turn and level as well. But now it very much feels like you're playing against the whole entire lobby, right away. And it doesn't really matter if the person you're playing against leveled up. You kind of have to just keep going this crazy aggro, nobody goes up to tier 2 until turn 5 or 6 or whatever. And I don't like that as much. It's like you're skipping a tier entirely because most people go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 2, 3 all at the same time. Nobody does anything on tier 2 anymore. And I'm not a fan of that, again, because my Battlegrounds playstyle that I really like to do is to go for the big boys, right? I don't want a whole bunch of piddly little minions. I want the big stuff. And I want it now, maybe eventually on turn 14 if I make it there.
Okay. All right. I've got a philosophical something I want to try here. What if I told you, Joce, What if I told you one of the biggest boys you could get is your buddy? And you can get that big buddy, that big boy buddy, quicker if you buy a bunch of little shits.
Well, that depends on who you're playing as too, because sometimes they just like they have a battle cry effect or something, or like persistent effect, sure. But and I'm also like staying away from tier 4 buddies often because it feels like I never get them. And that's definitely because of my preferred kind of play style, alongside the fact that they just take longer to get inherently. So like I'm just never getting them.
Yeah, I mean, to my knowledge, I think the only tier 4 buddy that is performing well, and it's hilarious because I'm talking more about the buddies than I am the heroes themselves.
Well, yeah, because the heroes don't matter anymore.
Yeah, Queen Wagtoggle,
some of them are
the
some of them
Elder
can be pretty crazy.
Tagawag is a tier 4, and Wagtoggle is performing very well.
But how's Rag doing? Because I feel like Rag, again, maybe this is just like high rolly when like I do well early game. I was able to get his buddy, but
according to Nation Street Play, Rag is the last one in tier 2, but I find their tier levels seem somewhat arbitrary because Rag is at a average finish of 4.4 and the start of tier 3 is 4.5.
I think it's always been that, hasn't it? Like
I
tier 2 starts at 4, and then anything that's better than 4 is tier 1.
Yeah, it's just that like the divide between the two, we're talking about less than a point here.
Oh yeah,
I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Well, because average placement is usually between 3 and 5, right? So
yeah, but he's in there
but
with
the cutoff right now for between tier 1 and tier 2 is 3.78 to 3.8. So the cutoff is 3.79 for some reason. And then the cutoff between tier 3 and tier 4 is 4.86 to 4.88.
That sounds like some background statistics shenanigans is what that sounds like.
I don't know, like, you know that we're always talking about that 4.87 is really the tough spot in Battlegrounds. That's the finish that we always bring up here in the show.
Yep.
Yeah, but Ragnaros is chilling with his buddies, Bran, Cthulhu, Malagos, Flurgle, Dark Moon. They're all kind of in that same area of performance,
of success,
and everyone else that just rattled off except for Fungalmancer are 2 or 3 tier. Fungalmancer also has a 4 drop, so there are some 4 drops that are performing well, but they do seem to be the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, I haven't been picking them unless it's a hero I haven't tried yet. I still try to prioritize heroes I haven't played with buddies, and then heroes with 2s and 3s, or if I get Alexstrasza or the kitty cat, always pick them.
No.
I wish it was an easy way to see all buddies and then sort just the buddies. Like, how many tier 4 even are there? Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of tier 2 and tier 3 buddies that are also like in the dumpster. So it's
the text and the minion matters a lot.
Yes,
yeah, and I find that the 2s are a lot easier to understand often. So especially if it's a hero I don't play very often, then the tier 2 minions are very straightforward and you get them quickly. So it's better that than a tier 4.
I will take even a simpler approach than this right now as a casual player, is that currently the buddies that are doing well are the busted ones. And I know that sounds dumb, but like they clearly just aren't quite tuned yet. They're not done being tuned. So you can look at something like Xyrella or Illidan, which are crazy tier 2 buddies. You can look at Wagtoggle and Tagawag, which are crazy tier 4 buddies. And you can look at all the 3s that are there. Or Maleficent was moved from a 3 to a 4. Still the second best hero after the nerf. Still number 2.
Depends where you're looking. In the top 20%, she's fallen all the way down the 3rd. Hat.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
Whoa.
Really
and then
took a tumble down the shortest flight of stairs ever.
Yeah. And Tavish is really great with the tier 4 buddy, Terragosa. So, like, really strong buddy.
Used to be the tier 3 buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even after the nerf. Still fine. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, but I am not, like, if I were someone that played Battlegrounds as my main mode competitively, this would be equivalent to Doom in the Tombs, where someone said, wouldn't it be cool if, and they threw a bunch of crap in my format that I wanted to ladder with, and I can't go back. But I'm not that. I'm visiting. I got to play Gallywix Elementals, and I had a 626 Master of Realities, and I'm having a grand old time. Look, I'm having a good time. But if this were my main format, I'd be like, all right, when do they take the crap out of my stuff?
I'm sitting here going, when do they add armor back?
I think armor
When they
is
have
the
win
piece
rate data.
Yeah, armor is the piece that really feels like it's missing right now. And I think the reason Battlegrounds feels so unbalanced and feels so bad is because they wanted that data. And I'm like, but couldn't you have like made a guess? Like, did anyone look at Brucon and think, why, yes, this is extraordinarily balanced? This is perfect for the mode, and this won't make anyone angry.
Okay, let's make one Hearthstone developer very mad right now. What dev talks like that accent you just had?
I'm totally gonna throw Celestial under the bus, and he doesn't at all. But like,
He's been in our show. We have the audio files.
I know, but also I feel like there's just different voices when they're, I don't know.
You think that's his pitch voice?
Yeah.
No, that's one of Cora's accents. We all know it. Just admit it.
So they want to sound smart and important. They go a little British, don't we all? Like, come on.
But like, I don't blame them for
to our British
disabling
listeners,
armor.
I apologize for that
Yes.
display of an
I'm
accent.
saying that they sound smart.
No,
Why
I'm
would
saying
you
that your British
apologize?
accent isn't that
Oh.
good.
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Oh boy.
Did you hit Mark, Hat? Did you hit Mark?
A couple times we mark. We're gonna fix it in post. It's gonna be fine.
Sorry.
So
It's okay.
yeah.
I wouldn't want you to change your behavior, and you wouldn't have anyways.
Listen, I had a
so-
great week in Battlegrounds because I finally got a Tavish game.
Yeah.
Yeah. What place
Before
did
that,
I
you were
get?
feeling crabby. Ironically. Did you get second? You got second.
I got first.
Oh.
Because of course I
I thought
did.
this was
It's
going to be a
Tavish.
joke. I don't
It's
know.
not a
I
joke.
thought
I
we
got
were-
first.
we-
I thought you were gonna
Okay.
ask. Well, hold on. Was there dragons in the lobby? And I was gonna tell you no, which is true. There were no dragons.
That'd be a smart question that a Battlegrounds player would ask.
Yeah. But there were mechs. Yeah.
Mechs.
I did have to fight the final dude 3 times before a winner was decided. It was a bit of a nail biter.
But you buffed your bubbles. Little bubble
I
buff.
did buff. Actually, no. The winning strategy was to buff only one of my bubbles and then buff a shredder because they had like a god pirate comp, and I just needed to swipe some Lizas.
Oh, the Cleavy boy.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Faux Reaper.
You know what I'm talking. Faux Reaper. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you buffed your bubbles or buffed your buster, but you buffed your.
I was buffing my bubbles, but then I realized my only chance to win was to, swipe away.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, Tavish is ridiculous. I still haven't gotten a Maleficent Mana Storm game. Why do you hate me game?
No, I haven't played her either, actually.
I haven't seen Maleficent. I haven't seen George. I haven't seen Wagtoggle. I've gotten Zarella offered multiple times, but it's always against Brucon, and I know Zarella is trending slightly higher, but Brucon is just stupid, and I don't need to think. So I just take Brucon. Stupid powerful, that is. Also fun to play. Like, who doesn't want to call upon the elements and then have a raptor that just keeps calling upon the elements?
It's very zappy. I like the zapping because then, like, it just if you have a Rivendare, it's like pew 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 pew, and you know.
And yet somehow less random than Crackle.
That is a low bar, but yes, you are correct. Also, in this one lobby I was in where I was Bigglesworth, my opponent was Brucon. They died. I inherited an 800 million attack Terragosa. I'm like, that's pretty good. So I just took it and just borrowed it. I didn't win that lobby either because it's just a big poison. And like that's just kind of what you do in Battlegrounds now anyways. But
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to just have an 800 million attack minion.
So I didn't have a chance because the patch dropped the day after we recorded. There was some minor balance tweaks to Battlegrounds last week, and I remember when I saw that there were Battlegrounds balance tweaks, I was really excited, but it was quite minor. And one of the changes was to Draconid Enforcer, so it was irrelevant. But Elementium, Scroll Bomb, Maleficent Manastorms, I call it the bullshit buddy, went to Tavern Tier 4, and it doesn't matter. It's just one of those exceptions to the rule that Tavern Tier 4 buddies aren't that great. But you know what? That squirrel is, because as Hat so eloquently put it, the text on the card matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that buddy
Crazy.
is absolutely insane. Like so many boards I have tied against her just because I totally decimate her board, and I'll have a whole bunch of like elementals or dragons or like huge stuff that's still got like, I've had 3-4 minions on the board with 30 or more health each, and her bombs are just like, I'm just gonna sit here and ping your stuff until it's all gone. Do because I've had a billion mechs die and this is my life now. And I'm like, how is this fair? Yeah.
I would
she
like a
doesn't
clip
feel
of your
great.
do.
That's all my bomb
I marked
noise.
it down.
Thank you.
I marked it down.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna mix it with Cisco and do the bomb song.
That bomb. Watch it as the scroll goes.
Where there's gonna be a mega mix of this if I find some time. I'm gonna do it.
Oh man, but yeah, she feels unfair. I think I was gonna say more so than anyone else, but I think she and Brucon live in unfair world where I hate playing against them in mid to late game because it just feels like once their buddies get online, why even play the lobby?
It's gross. Yeah.
Illidan.
Illidan. Demons?
Pretty.
Demons.
I haven't seen many
No, it's
Illidans.
not demons. It's Murlocs.
I've gotten Illidan a few
Amalgadons?
times already.
Amalgadons. Yeah. Have you looked? Okay, Garrett, you're on HS Replay right now, right?
Uh-huh.
Click Illidan and look at his comps, and just take a gander at the left and rightmost minions in those comps.
I heard you like Amalgadons.
Yeah. Poisonous Wind Fury Divine Shield taunt Amalgadons that get to attack for free guaranteed at the start of every combat multiple times without taking
Are
any damage.
immune. Yes.
Yeah. So they keep the bubble. Yeah. I don't know. It's not like Amalgadons with Poison Divine Shield are a big part of this meta anyway, so imagine if they could attack first for free! So we actually already have confirmation from Dominic Alcos on Twitter that there are more changes coming soon, and Illidan was named specifically. Changes including Illidan. So you will see change to this, and it's worth noting the two small change, well, 2.5, right? Because they swapped Terragosa and Drac Enforcer, as well as bumping up the Maleficent Buddy.
Mm-hmm.
These were server side only. The way they nerfed Day 1 Demon Hunter, they look weird in the client and they don't act the way they look right now because they needed to take steps right away without a patch hitting. So we had a lot of speculation last week. I know that Garrett and Joce were talking about, like, is the mini set this week? I think we can say at this point it's probably not because the Masters Tour is next week. And so, like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to
They're
happen.
not going to announce on a Tuesday and release on a Thursday. It's a little too tight even for them.
Probably not. So that means that maybe there will be an actual shipped patch just for balance for Battlegrounds and to fix this duels bug before next week. Maybe, or like but within the next 7-8 days. It will not include a mini set. I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, if there is a mini set before the Masters Tour, I would be 100% shocked, which means we're probably getting it in 2 weeks, probably on President's Day. 2 weeks from tomorrow. What? That's the 22nd. That's probably the day. We have
okay.
no
I was
inside
like, we don't
information.
have that. What's the date for the rest of us non-Americans? But 22nd?
In 22nd, yes. The Tuesday after the Masters Tour, that seems to be their target date. Could be the Monday because they did that before. But that is a holiday in the US and it's a US-based company, so I don't know. But this was just server-side nudging. More is coming. I could see there being just a BG balance patch scheduled for this upcoming 7 days. I could see it because they need to do one.
So that would be 22.3 3?
Dot 4. It'd be dot 4, I think, but it's
Well, dot
well,
4
actually,
is
I don't
gonna be
know.
the mini set,
No, that's
right?
the major.
So,
You're right.
yeah.
So maybe it would be 22.2.2.
Ooh, so many 2s.
Ooh. I kind of want that to
On
release. I kind
February
of want
22nd?
them.
Yeah,
I
that's
I
don't want to
want
wait
them
that
to
long,
do.
but yeah, a
No.
2 would be great.
yeah.
Or no, it'd be 22.2. Yeah, it'd be 22.2.2. That's fun.
On February 22nd, 2022.
That'll hopefully be 22.4. But yes, I
Yeah.
just want a bunch of 2s on that day, which is a Tuesday.
Oh!
Ah.
Hey.
That's gotta be the day they're aiming for, right? Like,
I think so.
it's just too much fun. Too much fun?
I have nothing more. I have nothing else more to add other than please, for the love of God, offer me Maleficent Mana Storm before you make this a tier 5 buddy.
I'm the only tier 5 buddy in the game. Don't get it till turn 10.
It's a mech hero. I think if any tribe could consistently get there, it's mechs. They're real safe. And that squirrel is real overpowered.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyways, that's it for Battlegrounds. It's fun. It's not balanced. Please help us. And also, please write in to tacpodcast@gmail.com like these folks.
Hello?
Hello, it's me.
Hello?
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello, brother.
Or you can write us in the patron-only Discord. That's also an option. Skip the inbox entirely. Nyko is going to kick us off this week and says, what do you think of the current state of Hearthstone economy for full free-to-play players? The things we can get with gold are limited. Packs, battleground perks, mini set. Am I missing anything? I know that all 3 hosts are paying to play the game when they remember to pre-order, but I was curious about how accessible you thought the game was for free-to-play players. Hey, listen, bucko. And I don't use that term lightly. It's rough because we've been in since beta. So with that in mind, it is infinitely better than it has ever been. Just straight up better than it has ever been in Hearthstone. Doesn't mean it couldn't still be better or more accessible.
Yeah, and I think this here is what I was kind of hinting at when we were having the conversation about the legendary quest line earlier on in the episode. I really think, especially now that we are living in a Hearthstone world where we have 5 modes of like big proper game modes in Hearthstone. Like there's constructed, arena, then you've got duels, mercs, and battlegrounds, right? And constructed even is smooshing together wild, standard, and classic. So like 5 major ways to play Hearthstone. I really think they could take a look at quests and maybe revisit the idea of doing something that's a reward that is almost like a token, right? Like you complete a quest, you get a thing, and you can go and spend it in whatever mode that you want, which I feel like that's what gold is supposed to be, but it doesn't necessarily like jive with everything you can do in Hearthstone now, right?
Well, if gold doesn't work for that, then that means they need to rethink some prices, like how much you get for your gold. Because I
Yeah.
think that gold still generally has that universal currency feel. It's just when BG players drop 2K and get their perks for 4 months and are like, all right, I'm set, and constructed players buy 100 something packs with it and then say, okay, I have a third of the set, then there's
There's an
some
imbalance
misalignment
there,
there.
right?
Yeah. It's how far does it go? I mean, I was thinking about this listening to the episode last week where it was talking about not standard, Hearthstone, ranked, and arena. And it was either I pay to play arena and get rewards, or I pay way more upfront to get cards, but I don't have to pay anything to queue. And I think it was Joce, I think it was you who said that makes me a lot more likely to play constructed than arena. And I think that was their intention, is to get you to spend money on cards. because they'd rather have you spend money on cards and then play for longer because then you own the cards and then you stay in the system. Even though I would like a better limited mode, Garrett, you're right.
I was about to say, if only
right.
any other card
Mike.
games had made multiple formats in which you work within a limited framework, but you also buy and own the cards at the end of it. If only someone somewhere had cracked it, and maybe cracked multiple functional options that are really fun to play.
Yeah, if only. But anyways, so the F2P experience, it really depends who you're talking to. We're gonna focus on standard constructed because BG players, your life is pretty good.
Yeah,
Biggest
BG
problem you
players
have is
a
that they
good-
put
yeah.
out they put out too many skins for you to keep up with. It's
Well,
a
and
problem
that's
that we're just
kinda
gonna have
the
to work
thing,
through
right?
together.
Like, and I know that they have to monetize the BG world for sure because they didn't do a great job of that like out the gate, right? Like we can all agree that they probably should have had a monetization plan in place before they launched Battlegrounds because it's wildly popular.
What a
like,
horrible
they
world to
can't
live
claw it
in.
back, right?
Oh no, they didn't charge us enough for this quality content.
Well, no, but
and
then
the
now it's
genre,
led to
it's a new genre that people don't know how to charge for, right? Because
Mm.
like you look at TFT, they don't know how to take your money either. And Riot's usually pretty good at figuring that out, but they have no idea how to take your money unless it's for a pretty thing. It's
Which
when
is kind
the
of what
main
Battlegrounds
game,
is doing now too with all the skins, right?
Right.
And then so they're putting out so many skin packs and they're like around $20 each for me up in Canada. I don't know exactly what the price is for you guys in the States, but for me up in Canada, those packs of 8 without a bartender are $20. So like that's a pretty big chunk for 8 skins that don't even have like voice lines attached to them, right? So
No, I agree. I think all the Battlegrounds cosmetics are at least $5 more than I want them to be. All of them. Every single
Yeah.
one is at least $5 too expensive. It's like I went to a Home Goods. Everything I pick up at Home Goods is $5 more than it should be. Sorry. That was my extremely domestic mention of the week.
it's like I don't know what
You made
that
it.
store is.
not
Everything is backwards.
sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored. Although Home Goods,
How
if
did-
you're listening, listen. Please, thank you. I may have complained about the prices, but I still pay them.
Yeah. Hook a brother up. But we're not going to talk about BGs because if that's the biggest problem BGs has, that's a wonderful place to be. We're not going to talk
Yeah.
about Mercs because Mercs players, you got the other problem. They'll fix it maybe, I hope. But
They
standard,
won't.
we're right in the middle where like if you consistently commit to clearing your quests and playing and you're frugal and economical with your dust, you can usually have a bunch of packs at the start of the expansion and you can usually make decks as you go. You can't quite have the day one experience of I can play whatever I want right now and jump in the deep end of the pool without spending money. You're
Mhm.
free to patient, right? You got to wait to have the full experience, but you can get pretty close by the end of the expansion. You can buy the mini set with gold. You can skip the tavern pass, which really is mostly cosmetics. It's just a legendary at the beginning. That's the important part. Do your quest. You can end up with like 100 packs. You can buy 100 packs in gold, like a lot, with just the free to play experience. But it's still going to be.
And that's
It is
a-
slower though
making
too,
do with
right?
what you got.
Because
Yeah.
the XP gain that you get with the paid track, you don't get with the free track. So it takes a little bit longer for you to complete all of your steps of the tavern pass.
Yeah. And it's still based on what you open and what you're willing to dust or what you're willing to wait on. It's still going to be you're very much aware that you are going to be constrained by time or by what you're willing to give up later. Like if you dust something now to play something, you get a little bit more now, but you lose out on access to something later. Patience is always the way to make it with free to play, but patience sucks sometimes because you see someone else playing something cool and then you can't do it, and then you got to figure out what to do. That's still here, but like Garrett said, much better.
And like Garrett did, forgot to pre-order. So yeah, I know what it means. I know what it's
Yes.
like to see something cool and go, shit.
Now that we're nearing the mini set, like how has that lack of pre-order kicked you in the nuts?
I don't know because I've been playing Battlegrounds.
Okay, so you're really having
Yes.
so that's a valid experience. You're like not paying a big chunk of money for a pre-order,
I mean,
and
at
then Is it that you don't want to play Standard because you don't have the cards, or Battlegrounds just been so good that you're glad you didn't fork out the money for a mode you probably wouldn't have played anyway?
Well, I mean, as we talked at the top of the show, I'm bored with Standard. My favorite class I'm bored with. I'm sick of Librams. I'm sick of my favorite class being too good. It's really boring. I love Librams too, and I've said this on previous episodes. I think Librams are one of the best designs. In every card game I've ever played, I love buff and shit, but it's always a risk, and Librams have found a way to kind of rein that risk in. But it's just, I've played the same thing for too long. And I'm a very kind of class-oriented player. I tend to I've always stuck to Paladin, but I dance between, Shaman, Hunter, Warlock too, big time. And I'm just kind of like, Hunter hasn't been interesting to me for a while.
Yeah. We have a question about that next, but
but this is answering the question in regards to this. Out the gate, it was fine because and mileage varies on the meta, right? Like if I was fine sticking with Paladin, I would have been great. Like save up, make Cariel, continue on with my life. Like that would have been it because Paladin has been the same for 2 years. That for me as a player who spends money, that's kind of a negative thing. I'm a little bored. But it would have been a saving grace if I wanted to keep playing the class. So a lot of it comes down, I think your personal patience, or like the tail on your enjoyment as a player that has to be patient because you're free to play, is gonna, I think for a lot of us, it psychologically comes down to how much we're enjoying the decks we decided to plant our flag in, and dust cards to build if you're that type of player, which I used to be much more of back when I was on a little stricter budget, but. Yeah, but I had a Pirate Warrior right out the gate as well, which had essentially not changed at all. And so in that way, I would say this year, I feel like there's been multiple carryover decks like every single damn expansion. And I would imagine a certain degree of that is by design. They don't want to alienate free to play players or even players on a budget. Budget being a wide range. Who the hell knows?
Yes,
My budget's usually like 400 to 500 a year on Hearthstone. But yeah, it's
somewhat complicated too, right? Because that highlights a really big difference from the old Hearthstone experience. The old Hearthstone experience, when you made a deck, if it was good, you had it for 6 months and they wouldn't mess with it. Now, like, if the deck is good, if it's really good, they're probably changing a card within a month. And it might not make the deck unplayable, but you might play the same cards and lose more because they changed something by a number here or there. It's rare for them to completely delete a deck. Really, really rare for that to happen. It happens in rotation. They did it with Thief Rogue. I'm sad. But it's still, usually it doesn't happen. Libram Paladin is an exception. We've had that for 5.5 expansions. It's ridiculous. And the fact that we're only really expressing how sick we're feeling about it now, those cards were printed.
I think we've been saying that for 2 or 3 expansions now, at least.
I feel like most
For a
of
little bit.
the last standard year, it has come up. I was definitely I was excited.
I feel like every new expansion that comes out, or like, I hope they do something at Paladins that makes Paladin good without Librams. Like, I want to do anything else. Like, bring back Murlocs. Anything can happen. Let's go.
Listen, Cora tried with Secret Weapon, and they destroyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also that deck played Librams. But you can
some
play
of them.
just regular.
Some of them.
You can play buff or hand buff Paladin right now. They're both good with no Librams. But it's the point remains. It's still like we've been more sick of decks that have been around less time. The Libram cards were printed when COVID quarantine first started.
Yeah.
They've been around for an incredible amount of time. So that's an outlier. But even then, you look at Handlock. Handlock's been around for 6 months. They've nerfed it 4 times. Still good. Still fine. You can still play. So like there's your deck isn't going to fall apart, but they are going to mess with it. There's a question that I get a lot of, is it a good time to craft or dust this? It used to be a lot clearer. Like, wait for the first balance change after an expansion comes out, then go ahead. Now it's like, I don't know, we're 2 weeks from the last balance patch and 2 weeks until the next one. Do what you want. I have no idea.
I dust and hold. When I'm unsure, I dust. I just bank the dust, and then I play something else for a while and let the meta sort it out.
I just push the button when it's blue.
So I do that too, but I tell chat not to do that because it's not optimal. But I do that all because I don't want to deal with it. But also, I throw a bunch of money. I throw a bunch of money at Hearthstone, so I don't have to think about it.
He's delivered that like the girl giving the weather in Mean Girls.
It's gonna rain.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think free to play is there's so many factors as we've talked about here, but I think it's really difficult as someone who's played since beta not to look at it and go, "Good God, have we come a long way from a pretty damn."
Core is huge. Core is so good that they just give you a pile of cards every year.
Here you go.
That part's awesome.
Also, that we changed that shit and it doesn't just stay like basic classic set.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like
the stuff that you don't play stays.
We don't actually know.
Yeah.
Well,
we
haven't
had a full core rotation yet, right?
We
we
haven't
had
talk
a
about that in
new
2
year.
questions in this mailbag.
We will.
Shall we move on to the next question?
Sure. This one comes from I don't know if it's cliche or cliche. Anyways,
Cliche.
Now that the buffs and nerfs have rebalanced standard, what holes do you want to see plugged or archetypes pushed with the mini set? So I think that's what I was getting at with their conversation about paladins and Librams, and I think Hunter, which is a class very near and dear to my heart, is very much the same in the same boat here, where I want to see them do anything other than the thing that they've been doing forever. I don't know if that's the mini set or if that's a thing that's going to have to wait for rotation. Probably rotation, but Hat, you were also saying you were doing a quest hunter thing, which is intriguing, I'll say.
It's good. Yeah, it's kind of tricky to play, but looking at HS Replay in the last 7 days in Legend, it's 49.2% win rate. Like, I've been doing okay with it. It's in Standard and Wild. It feels like it's missing a couple cards, but you got to be
Do you
really
think
careful.
we'll get them in the mini set? Like, what kind of mechanic is it like missing, or what support?
Density of direct damage cards that are cheap. So I don't.
No,
want
but if
them
we get
to
cheap
do
direct
that to me.
damage cards, they're just gonna go in Face Hunter.
So there are some that are better in Quest than in Face. Rapid Fire is the card that was nerfed in Wild. Because in Wild, this was crazy because you played Odd Quest Hunter. And the quest, for those of you that don't know it, when you finish the reward, you have a
Ken and
0 mana
Baku
hero
come
power.
back to bite us in the ass again.
Well, this is just it's when you take 7 years of sets and put it all together, some crazy stuff's going to happen. The quest reward here, you end up with a 0 mana 3 damage hero power that every time you play a spell, it refreshes. So Rapid Fire is 1 mana, deal 1 damage, twin spell. And the quest trigger is deal damage with a spell. So Rapid Fire is 2 mana, just skip an entire leg of the quest. That's not a good Face Hunter card. It's 2 mana, 2 damage. We don't play it. In Quest Hunter, it's loco bananas. It's completely crazy because it just speeds you through the quest. So you have to come up with some kind of damage, cheap damage that only hits minions, or something like that, some restricted damage if you want Quest Hunter to be better. I also don't really feel like they need to test the boundaries of cheap direct damage because I'm okay with like a less of that in Standard for a little while. But they could do that. I hope they give more support for Big Beast Hunter because I like that deck and it needs survivability tools early game. Because when you get to the late game, good luck Fell Demon Hunter getting through 3 Mountain Bears. Like that, you're just not going to do that. It's not a thing that's going to happen. But the survivability matters because you have to play Vandar, which means you can't play any minions that cost 3 or less. And Hunter does that. So they need something else to do around that.
Yeah, that's fair. Is there anything else that you guys want to see fixed up or pushed or anything with the mini set?
I'm really ready. I'm at burn it down. I'm at Hearthstone Revolution mode.
Anything else?
Yeah, I want the French Revolution. Like, get me out of all of these archetypes. Like, it's been too samey for too long. Except for, the addition of Shamans Can Freeze now. That feels very new. And it happens to be one of my least favorite things in the game.
I was going to say, yeah, new, but not necessarily good for some.
Very personal. Very personal.
Yeah.
I understand that maybe you're out there having a great time. Clearly you are, because it's one of the most played decks with one of the highest win rates.
I would say that the experience of being irritated at Snowfall Guardian is not unique to you, Garrett.
Yeah.
I feel real good about that guess right there. I think other people maybe have a problem with Snowfall Guardian.
But listen, clearly not enough to not play it out of like protest. There's plenty of people out there snow falling.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you played the shit out of Quest Mage and Big Priest. Like, we've all been there.
F me up, fam.
And I'm Jocelyn, cover yours.
Spoiler alert, my
Give me an
headphones are still
Aggro
in.
Demon Hunter deck. Give me Aggro Demon Hunter back. I can play Demon Hunter with Death Rattle minions. I don't want Death Rattle minions. I can play Fell Demon Hunter. All right, fine, but I want to play 1-drops in Demon Hunter. I want to play Battle Fiends. I want to play Battle Sworn Vanguards. I want to hit my opponent in the face. I want the game to be over turn 6. I want to cut Skull because it costs too much. That's what I want in my life. Give me an aggressive Demon Hunter back.
I like Fell Demon Hunter, actually.
I like it too, but there's no 1-drops. I want to play 1-mana minions and then attack. Hit him.
Just want to hit him. Just go.
I know it came up when we covered the AMA last week. I just want to play Tyrion. I miss Tyrion. I miss him so much.
Just like
in
straight
so
up
many
like
formats.
OG Tyrion?
I just want to play Tyrion.
Pick a format. You want to play him in Battlegrounds? No, you can't. You want to play him in Center? No, you can't. Where do you play Tyrion? You can play Talon. That's little Tyrion.
You can put him in your deck in Wild. You won't live to see him.
Is he in Standard? He's in Standard, right?
No,
he's not. No, he is. He's in Standard.
He is. Yeah, he's just, yeah.
Yeah, he's not good.
That entire dance is all you need to know about the quality of Tyrion compared to the current power level.
No, wait. I know Tyrion's in Standard because he comes off Cenarian Ward. That's right. I knew I'd seen him recently.
So druids are playing Tyrion.
Yes.
It's like saying, oh, my favorite underground band. Yeah, they're still around. They're the roadie for this other more successful band. No shade to roadies. But they're not, the roadies don't pull out the instruments and play the cool bands that they're a part of. That's not what happens. Although I've definitely been to a lot of concerts where I'm like, oh, the roadies started playing. Oh, it's the band. They just don't have roadies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember when Tyrion was like the most powerful thing we had?
Well, he was the curve topper to... You're thinking of Secret Paladin, right? He was the curve topper to 7 sequential design mistakes, and then you just throw a Tyrion in there. So like...
No, I mean like OG original, like back in the day Hearthstone.
You had Rag, you had Sylvanas.
Tyrion, like, yeah.
You had OG Miracle
Alex.
Rogue, which is like still to this day.
I remember Tyrion. Tyrion was an 8-mana 6/6 with a red X over the text box. It was really strong. Just got owled. That was 2 mana. Just owl.
Yeah, you just heard whoo, and then it was over. It was over. It's the end of that. I remember Tyrion. I remember stealing Tyrion with my Sylvanas. Did a lot of that too. The best is like against other paladins. So you had like 2 Tyrions on board, and the best they could hope for was to override 1 Ashbringer. Just like, yeah, I'm winning this game. And then you throw down Ragnaros, because all 3 of those were in the same paladin deck. Am I nostalgic for classic Hearthstone?
There's a mode for that.
There is a mode for that. I might build an old paladin deck tonight. I might do that. Anyways, Hat, who does our final question come from?
Final question is from King Dupless. We are starting to get to that time of year where people start or have been talking about rotation. How right you are, King Dupless. So I'd like to hear all those early calls, takes, and opinions. Any cards you hope return from Wild and get added to the core set. Any card currently in the core set you hope stays. Any card you hope gets booted. Ooh, who's got opinions?
Well, actually,
Justin, you've had opinions all day.
I have. I kind of want your opinion, though, specifically on Rogue, because first and foremost, we're not 100% sure how much of the core set is going to change, right? That was the thing that they put this set of cards together at the transition last year, and they very much seem to be aiming for giving classes their own identity and keeping stuff around that made, Rogue feel like Rogue, Mage feel like Mage, all that kind of stuff, while giving them more tools to kind of flesh that out. And I don't think we're going to get like a full new different core set this year. Like that's just not going to happen. We might see a couple of cards come in and a couple of cards go out. But my big question, like more so than I think any other class, I think maybe Hunter's probably up there too, just because there's some secrets and stuff in here that are seeing play. But I feel like Rogue has a lot of cards that see play all the time. And it's almost like reminiscent of all the conversations we used to have around Rogue of like, they're still just playing with their like OG stuff. Like we still see like, so they've got Backstab, Shadow Step, Swashbuckler, like SI7 agent sees a lot more play in the SI7 deck, like the Quest Rogue than a lot of other stuff. But
it's
Prep,
like the anti-Paladin. It's like Paladin has all this stuff. None of it's getting played. Who's playing Aldor Peacekeeper? You remember? Oh my God. Do you guys remember ancient history when equality was good? Like,
yeah, it's like it seems like the core set from a lot of other classes doesn't see nearly as much play, and they kind of build their decks out of whatever they have in like given to them during the course of the standard year, which then makes rogues sometimes feel a little bit samey. Thoughts, Mr. Rogue player?
Okay. So first of all, what you're saying is what I was gonna say, but what you're asking is not what you're saying. What you're saying and what I'm thinking is the same thing. It's time for Shadow Step to go. That's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
Really loud.
Very much
You were
so.
thinking it's time for Shadow Step to go. I'm right there with you.
Just
Been
why do
a
they
little
get to
bit
do
too
the
much.
same thing over and over and over again? And I don't even get a chance to kill the thing before they could do the thing again.
Listen, put a nun behind it, march it down a narrow alleyway, and ring a bell.
Yes.
They have to figure out how Rogue is Rogue without Shadow Step because it's a really big part of what Rogue does, and a lot of the cards that were being Shadow Stepped, Wand Thief, Prize Plunder, the Og Merchants, those are rotating. Octobot costs 3 now. So a lot of the cards that Rogue has had for the past, well, forever, have been designed around the concept of Shadow Step being here, but I think it's time for it to take a break. So what does Rogue look like if you do something else? I don't know. I'm curious. I'd like them to try it. I think it is time to try it. As a longtime Rogue player, I would like to see what Rogue looks like without shadowing the steps. And there have been a lot of Rogue cards that are in Standard that were good in the past that aren't good now. Backstab has not seen play this entire year.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
been one point where that was the Rogue card that I hope they don't have the Backstab. SI7 is only in the deck that cares about the name SI7.
Yeah.
Like Deadly Poison is in the poison deck.
Is in
Prep
poison,
is
yeah.
in the Prep has seen some decent play, like a little bit, but that's only recently. Tomb Pillagers in Standard, no play. Plague Scientist, no play. Sprint, no play. Patient Assassin, Assassinate Assassin's Blade. Vanessa Van Cleef, a little bit, but Foxy Fraud is rotating, so she gone. And if you look at Hunter, is actually interesting to me because the cards that left last year, Animal Companion, Eaglehorn Bow, Houndmaster, Hunter's Mark, Kill Command, Snipe, Thunder Rhino, Unleash the Hounds. Those all left. Hunter still feels very huntery. They did a really good job of that, and I'm glad they brought back Quick Shot. I'm glad they left tracking around. But I think the cards that I really want to see Shadow Step leave and have there be room for something else going on. I think Warrior, I know that they spent a year without Shield Block. I don't think that was fair to our Warrior friends. I'd like Shield Block back. I'd
They
like
had
Void
pirates.
Walker
They were
back.
fine.
They were fine, but we only just get the vestige of Control Warrior now. I want Shield Block back. I want Void Walker back. Flame Imp and Void Walker should not be separated again. Don't do that to me, Blizzard.
Well, yeah, because I mean, are there any Warlock cards in the core set that are even seeing play right now? Mortal Coil? Oh, Drain Soul is in the core set, right? Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Drain
one.
Soul, Mortal Coil, and
I think that's it, right?
I've seen Siphon
Not
Soul in
even
the last
Garrett
year.
is seeing play.
I've seen Siphon Soul in the last 365 days.
Yeah, I know it's in Standard. I haven't seen it, but I know it's there.
That's it. We're all excited about Jiraxis.
That was fun, but he's bad.
Oh, I just now get what you mean by Garrett's not even seeing play. Nicely done. Nicely done.
I even did the Battlegrounds.
You got to go way back to get that one if you don't already know what we're talking about. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. I don't know. I think we're hurtling back towards Control Warrior, which I'm not particularly stoked on.
I
But
mean,
I think it's
they
going to
spent
happen.
a long time this year not being good, like a long time. I'm okay with them blocking a shield every so often. They try with Shield Maiden. I love Shield Maiden, but it's just not, just ain't it. That just ain't it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
know.
Joce, you've gone this entire time without saying you want eye for an eye back.
Yeah, but that's more for memes than it is for actual things I think Paladin should be doing.
Gone are the days of the impassioned eye for an eye defense.
I know. It feels good. You said earlier on in the episode, we are emotional gamers, Garrett, and God, do I love when my opponent hits me for damage and I'm like, haha! The same, but back at you, even if it's only one. I'm okay with that.
That is what the text in the card says.
Yeah.
That's what it does. Yeah. Okay, but I want to look at the happy side of this question. Cards that you want to stay or cards that you want to be brought into the next core set? Both
Oh,
of these.
man.
Great question.
I don't even
Think about
know. There's so many.
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I'm a sadistic bastard. I'd like to see a world where Ultimate Infestation comes back in Druid.
Ooh. I feel like
Mm.
Druid has a lot of stuff though. I would almost want to see something come back for like Priest to get them to do something different, like maybe some of the priesty dragons or like Spiteful Summoner, which selfishly is just like one of my favorite decks of all time with Spiteful
hold up.
Priest.
Hold up.
Like,
If you're
That's-
saying Dragon
that's
Priest,
kind of a neutral, by the way.
It is a neutral. And well, there's neutrals in the core set.
whatever.
There are.
It's a neutral.
There were some things that did. No, it was pretty much
No,
just
it was
Priest, wasn't
Priest.
it? Yeah.
was
You could do
Priest.
Spiteful Big Mage. You could do Spiteful,
Yeah.
like Spiteful Iceblood Towers.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if you brought Spiteful back now with the stuff that we've got from this past year of the Griffin, like maybe there could be some cool Spiteful decks that would kind of work. And Mage is a really good example where like it's already kind of doing big spelly stuff. Maybe Spiteful could help that. Who knows? I don't know. But I loved Spiteful Priest. It was fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to get away. Another archetype that's right up there with Libram Paladin for I'm done with, and I think this is why Ultimate Infestation came to mind is Token Druid. I'm a little over that as well. So I don't know. I want to get back to big power Druid.
Like the super aggro-y Druid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arbor Up is rotating. We don't have Savage Roar
Yeah.
right now either. So right now, like,
So are you afraid of
Ramp
spreading
Druid.
plague? I see you threatening people in chat.
spreading plague is evil. Don't you do that to me.
But
There are
if
defensive
there's
cards.
no
that you can
Savage
print in
Roar,
it.
what are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of the game going forever and dying of old age.
Oh, see you in a
It's-
minute. Hat hates long games.
Just play Best in Shell. It's in standard right now. There are turtles on them. They're very pretty.
And it's
Fine.
tradable.
Yeah. Just play. There are things to do. Like Druid right now. There's Ramp Druid in standard. 25 cards in that deck rotate, so it's gonna have some problems. They gotta figure out some new things to do. But like literally 25 cards rotate. But small Druid, they lose Arbor Up. They still have composting, but they don't have a way to convert that into damage like Pride Fury ain't it. So they got to do like you could do Heart of the Wild, I guess, if you're in the Beast Druid thing.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what they do there with Druid. I don't know.
Okay. All right. You want me to continue being a blasphemous Nightmare Hound? Because I'm with Hula Gaming and I don't know why I'm so hung up on Druid.
Yes.
But bring back Jade.
Yes.
I miss Jades.
Uh,
Everyone
As long as
everyone
they
who
don't-
goes, oh, the game's played too similar, played out too much the same way. We have quests. Everyone's doing the same shit game after game. There's no longer an excuse.
it's Jade would be popular if they didn't do Jade Idol the way they did Jade Idol. If instead of Jade Idol, right, the second mode was shuffle in 3 1-mana summon a Jade. If that was it, it'd probably be good. Probably be a good thing to do. instead of shuffling 3 Jade Idols, can't do that. But
Well,
shuffling,
I also
You
can't
don't
do
want to
it.
go
one
for
minute summon.
infinity?
I also can't do it
No.
in Wild. So please bring it back to Standard so I have a chance.
I mean, you can do it in Wild.
No.
You just kind of die.
No. Again, it's like
You
Tyrion. I
die.
can look at the cards I put in my deck, but I can't play the cards that I put in my deck.
Okay, so I feel I have to bring this one up, even though I hate it, but I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Cube.
Yeah! Oh, I miss Carnivorous Cube.
I freaking hate that card.
Oh, I miss it so
But-
much.
It may lead to some interesting counterplay given the cards we currently have access to that might make things playable that aren't currently seeing too much play, like Mass Polymorph. Like some people play it, but not a lot of people play it. But maybe they would if they were polymorphing cubes. I don't know.
I think Mass Poly would probably end up like Ping Mage is gonna end up being a real thing. Like I expect
It's
that
close,
it's
I
already,
think.
Yeah, it's popular right now. It is one of the top 5 decks in play. And like it's okay, and you can absolutely play Mass Poly in that deck right now, and I think it's pretty decent. There are a lot of decks that are close. The amount of stuff that we're losing in rotation, you don't have to change core to make things impactful and different because we're losing an entire year's worth of very strong cards.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to that. And think about, I'm looking over a lot of the cards that they made for core new last year. I want them to stick around. Egwin and Mage, would love to see more experimenting with Egwin. I think she's a really flavorful card, powerful. Thrive in the Shadows. I really like Novice Zapper, Zappy Boy. I hope they keep Zappy Boy around. I like that guy. Like Overlord Runthak. That was a lot of fun this year. Just playing the hand buff Rushy dude. It was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun playing that. It's. hope
I
that
think
they let that
Talon was
stick
good
around.
too, actually.
Yeah, I like Talon.
All right, I've got a whole. You could probably throw a dart at Ungoro Paladin, and I would be happy. But what do you think the number one Ungoro Paladin card I want to see return is?
Was Hydrologist in that set?
No idea.
Hydrologist was in that set.
Mm.
Probably second place for me. I want Sunkeeper Tarim
Oh,
back.
Tarim.
Oh, Tarim.
So-
yeah.
So okay, Tarim I think is a hair too powerful, but my number one wish list core card for a while has been Keeper of Uldaman, which is a little bit older. But 4 mana 3/4. That was LOE, I think.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So the 4 mana 3/4 set of minions attack and health to 3.
I think it's like Tarim was this huge board bomb and a giant taunt at the same time. Love the card, but if you're playing a board strategy against it, it just kind of destroyed you. I think Keeper of Uldaman is powerful and would see play and is just about the right power level to be decent. It's usable offensively and defensively. It's flexible. I really love that card. The 2 cards that I was going to name from old sets that I want to see back in Standard, Keeper of Uldaman and Thunderhead. Thunderhead, the 4 mana 3/6 Shaman card. When you play an Overload spell, you get 2/1/1 Rushy Sparks.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That wasn't that long ago.
That was, it was in, I think that was in the, what year was that?
Oh my god.
That was KNC.
Thunderhead Hearthstone going into my
Or no.
Google.
No, Boomsday Project. Wow.
So okay, this is further back than I thought. Never mind.
What year is Boomsday Project now? Oh god.
Uh,
2018. Ugh.
How long? Hey, let's recoin BC to mean before COVID.
Yeah. That's 2 years before COVID, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So long.
two BC.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I can get behind that. I will support your Thunderhead. Hope. I really are you picking up on what I just want a Silverhand recruit focused Paladin again, and whether that requires Sunkeeper Tarim, Light Fuge Stegodon is another one from Ungoro. I'd love to see return.
Ooh, that was fun.
Anything like that.
Quartermaster.
What was that?
Quartermaster.
Oh yeah, Quartermaster. I mean, let's go full hog. Let's just give me the boring mid-range Paladin that Regis shamed me for. Let's get Muster. Let's get Muster back in
Yeah,
here.
let's get Muster into Quartermaster. Let's go.
So muster would be good. I wonder what muster would be like in current standard.
It might be okay.
It would be playable. It would be played. Would it be busted? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think a lot of other people are doing a lot more busted things now for sometimes even cheaper mana.
I think Paladin's doing more busted things for cheaper
Yeah.
mana.
Yeah,
Like
in
on turn
a
3, they have
post-Libram
Bannerman and
standard.
Stonehearth Vindicator.
I like it
Yeah.
in a post-Libram standard. I think it hangs.
I think that'd be interesting. They're at the point where like you could do that. You could do that, or you could probably mini bot.
Well, yeah.
You couldn't do both. Don't do both. I don't want mini bot muster. Don't want no.
Yeah, shielded mini bot. God, this is one of my favorite, just like vanilla minions. I guess it has divine shield, so you can't call it vanilla minion, but it's a pretty basic.
No, but
minion.
Yeah. French vanilla.
Thank you.
Ooh.
There you go. It's got a little scarf.
That's the Magic the Gathering designers. When they have a minion that is only a keyword in stats, it's French vanilla. It's not. I didn't come up with that.
Joss, what you were gonna say?
I was going to say, actually, Ergopad in the chat room has a really good point we should kind of keep in mind when we're having this conversation is that core set cards seem to be, again, like core meant to stick around, not necessarily meant to push a specific archetype or a narrow strategy. And I think that that's really on point with what I remember them saying when they were developing it last year is that like they wanted to build class identity and not necessarily like support specific archetypes. They want to kind of support the whole entire class and give them tools to help them out with the rotating archetypes. And so I think that Muster is probably a really actually good example because that works really well with Paladin's hero power. It's like hero power on steroids, regardless of what else Paladin is doing, right? So just another way to make more dudes. So I think that still would be kind of like eligible for the core set.
Yeah.
And I like that you mentioned Minibot too, because I don't think there's enough like mechs. Like I think Cogmaster is in the core set, right? But like
why?
No, but like, yeah, exactly. Why? Yeah. Like we haven't done mech things for kind of a while. And I think that may be something they would probably bring back next year, but I don't know if that necessarily needs more support because there's a couple of like spider tanks in core set too. As I scroll through the neutrals as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Annoyatron, obvious. Which Annoyatron is probably the only mech that sees play right now. Really.
Yeah. And God, Ungoro just had a lot of good, just solid minions that like Hunter, for crying out loud. Good. I think you could just drop Crackling Razor Maw in right now.
Can we just have Ungoro again? Let's just
Ungoro again.
Set,
Ungoro
the first
2?
set of next year, just Ungoro 2. Yeah, let's go.
I don't want to Razor Maw a Rhino. I don't want that to happen to me.
Well, please get Rhino
I
the
want that
hell
to
out of
happen
here.
to somebody else.
Or nerf Rhino or something.
Well,
But
Rhino
yeah,
is
no
rotating.
quest. No quest.
Okay, well there you go. Okay, then why? Yeah, you don't need to worry about it. You only need to worry about it in Wild, where it's not good enough.
It's there will be beasts. There are always beasts.
Exactly, like a Jeweled Macaw, Raptor Hatchling, Crackling Razor Maw. Yeah, they're all beasts, but Hunter always going beast. Hunter core as it is has beast. All of these, you could put one of them in, you could put all of them in, and I think it would be perfectly fine. And I don't think it leans too hard in any direction other than beast, which is just Hunter. Hunter's class identity is beast.
It is. It really is.
Jeweled Macaw, 1/1, add a random beast to your hand. It's a beast itself. Cool. Done. Cut. Print it. Raptor Hatchling, a 1-mana 2/1 beast that puts a better raptor into your deck when it dies. Cool. Cut. Print it. Crackling Razorback. No other card has adapt. Doesn't matter. You'll figure it out. You can hover over the freaking card. You don't need to retire the keyword. I still think that's dumb. Leave it alone. Put it back in core set.
Yeah. Guardian Animals, linchpin of the Hunter archetype. Been seeing some play in Druid since they printed it for both classes.
Yes. Yes. Does anyone miss Tarboy? Tar Creeper?
Tar Creeper?
Oh, I miss Tar Creeper
okay.
a little bit. Yeah.
I love him. Don't bring it back. That is too good because what you have to do to minion quality when you know that Tar Creeper is going to be the defensive drop on 3 every single game, you really need to push early game minions in a way to either make them too survivable or too powerful to get past the Tar Creeper all the time. It leads the format to be a little bit out of whack in how powerful your 1-drops get to be when you're not dealing with the Tar Creeper. I'd rather Stonehill Defender. Give me an out of my jungle. I'll settle for an out of my jungle. Give me a little bit of value. Give me a little bit of turtle. Little turtle value.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, Ungoro was such a good set. I'm sorry. I'm just
was,
going through it now. I'm like, Primordial Drake. What an absolute bomb.
I would love to have Primo Drake back. And I was thinking, I think you could put Original Curator in core. You could probably do that. That's a mech that draws you a beast, a Murloc, and a dragon.
I like that.
And Primo Drake, good dude. It's a good dude.
I like that a lot. Joce, you mentioned wanting a hot second before you went down Summoner Priest, Dragon Priest, and anything that gets me back to a Dragon Priest reality, I'm here for.
Yeah, I just think that there's a few classes that have felt like since the core set came in that they haven't really had a lot of power or direction, and I think Priest is the poster child for that. And I'd kind of like them to see a shakeup in classes like that more than anything else, just because I want to see their base kit up to the level of everybody else so that when they have cool mechanics mixed in every expansion, they have viable decks that are fun to play and fun to play against. And Priest has always struggled with that. But right now they just feel super memey and not really playable. And that doesn't feel great. I do want 10 playable classes in Hearthstone. And I think the core set is a big part of that.
Priest is it has decent options, just none of them feel all that priesty. Shadow Priest, really, really good. Does not feel priesty. Miracle Priest, very challenging to play. Kind of weird deck. And then the slower Priest decks, you lose to a lot of the powerful things that are going on in the from hand strategies that are a little bit faster because the slower Priests, they don't have lethality. But the thing is, the slower Priest players want Priest to be slow, and Xyrella is perfect for them. Problem is that the format isn't slow around them. They don't want the deck to be different. They just want it to lose less. So that's kind of the difficulty here because Priest, you described it really well when you said fun to play with and against because they hit the jackpot with Priest mechanics that Priest players want. They want to res some shit. They want to get something annoying and put it in your way 19 times. They're good at it. Priest players love doing it, but playing against it is toxic. And so beating it from hand makes the Priest player feel like, why am I even bothering with this class?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have any of that stuff, then the Priest players make the rest of the people say, why do I even bother playing Hearthstone? And that's you can't have that. So there's got to be some balance there.
I agree.
You love to see it. Well, I have no further thoughts. I think
Good
my answer is
questions this
Ungoro.
week,
Ungoro. Just
in a nutshell, just Ungoro.
Yeah. So you want to play against Questro again, Garrett? Because you can do that in Wild right now. It's good. It's good again.
I didn't say all of Ungoro. I didn't say all of it.
By the way, fun fact, that expansion had 8 pretty really bad quests. One of them was good, that expansion, the Warrior quest. The other ones were between pretty bad and embarrassingly bad. I'm looking at you, Warlock. And then there was the Rogue quest, which got nerfed 4 times. Then they reverted a couple of them and it's good and Wild right now.
Listen, quests are fine when they're not particularly great.
Yeah, when they're not great, nobody plays them.
I summoned Galvadon a few times. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I remember a lot of people being excited about Time Warp.
It ended up being good and Wild a few years later with a lot of other cards, but since then they've nerfed that quest and Sorcerer's Apprentice's mana cost got doubled, so probably not gonna make it.
Listen, we don't need to have, I think, any conversation about keeping quests in the game because they're gonna still be here for a whole freaking year.
Oh yeah. Yay, quest lines.
I mean, I'm cool with it.
That was the most.
Some people are uppity, but
Aladdin, Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it, great. That was you.
It's a great movie.
It's the best. Better than Lion
We
King.
done?
Fight me. Yes, I'm just pouring gasoline on a Disney fire. Excuse me a moment.
Wait, is that a controversial opinion? Is what you just
I
said a
feel like
controversial opinion?
I feel like Lion King is like the popular answer for best Disney movie ever.
But Aladdin's better.
It is because yeah. Listen,
No, I'm not memeing either. I think that's true.
You know what? I can dive back out of this. You know what the good thing is? We don't have to choose. We can watch both. Whatever we're in the mood for.
Yeah. Just
What-
sometimes I just want to go back and watch Will Smith's iconic performance. What can I say?
I actually kind of like the live action version.
I never saw it.
It's not terrible. Will Smith he makes it his own. He does a good job. And it's a good cast. The dude, I don't know the actor's name they cast for Aladdin, but I really liked him. Anyway.
That's it for this Hearthstone podcast.
Shameless cash grabs aside, but enough about duels. Let's bring this show to a
They
close.
took down the paywall. Stop your slander.
This episode is brought to you by our epic patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/TAC. If you like what we're doing here on The Angry Chicken, you want to support Jocelyn, you want to support RidiculousHat, you want to support me, or you can at least stomach supporting me while supporting the other two, check out patreon.com/TAC. Get an ad-free version of the show. Come join us in our Discord. Hang out. I promise it's a nice place. If it isn't, we'll boot them out. Maybe I'll check how much they pay us first, and then we'll boot them out.
Garrett.
Kidding. Clearly a joke. Also, huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H. and Dustin C. If you want to become a producer, get thanked every episode, and really support us, check out patreon.com/TAC. The back catalog of episodes can be found at theangrychicken.com or at youtube.com/amove2. You can follow the show on Twitter at TAC Podcast, and you can catch us live Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/amovetv, except for next week because it's Valentine's, and we celebrate a capitalist holiday.
I mean, I don't know if we're celebrating. Just it would be better for my marriage if we didn't do a podcast that day.
Yeah, listen, I know being cynical about it is the popular thing to do, but I'd jump at any excuse to go out to dinner.
Yeah. I like my wife. I'm going to hang out with her instead.
Yeah, that
See
too.
you Tuesday.
We'll do that. See you Tuesday? Tuesday? Cool.
Tuesday.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds all right. I also know someone has an anniversary coming up that may have ended in the coldest experience of my life. Because they decided
But most funnest, right?
Yes, because they decided to get married north of the wall in February.
Like sane people.
It was actually...
No one likes sweating at weddings, okay?
First of all, it was 60 degrees the night before our wedding. We thought we chose correctly, but Florida gonna do what Florida gonna do. Your wedding, while the coldest temperature I've ever experienced, was legitimately beautiful. It looked like it was out of a picturesque fantasy storybook. So,
Exactly.
well played. And we weren't at yours, sadly.
Yeah, we didn't do. It was 30 people. We only did dinner, no dancing, no kids, just a nice dinner, and then everybody left. It was fantastic.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Also, a lot cheaper than the thing that you both did.
Yeah. I got a real cruel joke there. I'm not gonna say. Anyways, around the table before we leave, Joce, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at JOCE Plays. And also, Garrett, I know I was talking to you earlier today, but I've officially joined the cult. So I will be streaming. It's a cult.
It's a cult of quality gaming.
Honestly, okay, Final Fantasy 14 people, I'm sorry. I love you. Most of my friends are Final Fantasy 14 people at this point. You're a cult. I have never been so peer pressured to play a game ever in my life.
I have told you once. Once I'm like, hey, you should play it.
You specifically, by all the Final Fantasy people, which includes my husband. You guys are relentless. It's ridiculous.
Matt is cool. Matt is really cool. I think the only person who likes Matt even close to as much as you is me. So
I'm just saying. So listen, I'm streaming it on Friday night.
The man has great taste in games. We'll ignore Rocket League.
Hey, Rocket League is a great game.
Again, I'm just pouring gas. It's a really good game that is not for me. It's a great game that is just not my jam.
Yeah. So I'm trying it anyways on Friday night for the first time. I've made my character because apparently there's still issues with servers because it's so popular. So I made my character to make sure I could actually have a character.
You cannot make a character if there's currently a queue on the server you're trying to make a character for.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
so
we had to get Katie in there last week. It was like, hold your breath and go. Are you happy? Are you happy? Yeah. She actually ended up making her character on another server, saving the appearance data, and then once there was an opening on my server, loaded the appearance data, slammed it.
Damn.
Bob's your uncle. Yeah.
But yeah, so I have my character made, but that's all I've done. It is a cult, so much cult. So now I'm going to be playing on Friday night because it was the most requested. I had just as many people bugging me about Final Fantasy 14 on Friday when I put the poll out as who wanted me to play standard constructed Hearthstone. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, where do you think the people who aren't playing World of Warcraft went? It's a lot of people.
I know. Yeah, I know. So anyways, that's what I'm playing this Friday. So you should go and follow me on Twitch. Next Friday, we're going to play some Horizon because Forbidden West is out and I'm so excited. So close.
I'm so excited that you're so excited. I still haven't played the first one. Ridiculous Hat, who I'm going to throw to before Joce can induct me into her cult. Where can folks find you?
Is it a cult if it's just me?
It is not just you.
Celestalon really likes that game. I tried a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn. I couldn't get into it as much, but it's well made. It's well made. It just didn't click with me.
I don't like bows and arrows outside of tabletop and MMOs.
Okay, so you guys officially have to find a new third chair. Bye!
The combat felt really good. I liked the controls a lot, and you got to slide under robot dinosaurs and like do some crazy shit. That part was cool. But then a lot of side questing and chatter from people I stopped caring about because they weren't robot dinosaurs, so I just stopped playing. So right now I'm playing
you get in there, you're like, wait, they're not all robot dinosaurs? I was sold a bill of goods.
I want to do the fighting, and then it made me do other stuff, and I was not interested in the other stuff, which is why I'm playing Sifu right now, which is the new Kung Fu game that just came out. It's all fighting. It's just punching. It's very satisfying, and you have to and I can't really do this justice on the audio format, but like it's really good. So, but when I'm not doing Kung Fu on the PlayStation or playing Hearthstone, I'm not in their Final Fantasy cult, but I do tweet a lot, which is a different kind of cult. We're much more cynical over there. Twitter.com/RidiculousHat is the hub of my content. Also, I do 2 other Hearthstone podcasts, Coin Concede, bring the competitive side of the game more accessible to you, coinconcede.com, and Vicious Syndicate, a data-driven look at the standard metagame. Garrett, where can people find you besides logged into whatever Final Fantasy server you're on?
Well, actually, you can go to Curl. We had an impromptu. So I'm streaming Final Fantasy on Mondays, and new Final Fantasy 14 videos upload to youtube.com/AMOVTV every Wednesday. No, there's not a podcast version. There might be something podcast related in the future, but there's so much growth on YouTube, I can't even think about a podcast right now. So yeah, that's what we're doing there. So Mondays, 2 p.m. Eastern time, go to youtube.com/AMOVTV. Yes, we're streaming on YouTube. Kyle and myself are playing Final Fantasy 14 every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel. And then every Wednesday morning, we upload a new video talking about either where we are in the story or things that are kind of blowing our minds. I've got an interesting one this week. I haven't done a WoW comparison in a while, and there's been this thought that has been rattling around my brain, and you're just going to have to wait until Wednesday to hear me expunge all these thoughts I have about the way my MMO brain has been forged by World of Warcraft, and how Final Fantasy 14 is like slowly unraveling it and like making me question myself, like, does it really need to be that way? And I go, yes. Wait, maybe it doesn't. Wait, maybe it doesn't need to be that way.
Yes, no.
maybe there's merit to both. Maybe there's merit to both ways. Anyways,
probably not though.
No, actually, a little bit of a spoiler. What I will talk about, I do think there's a little bit of merit to both. Anyways, catch that youtube.com/AMOVTV. Final Fantasy 14. I'm really enjoying Heaven's Ward. It's wonderful. It's great. The dragons still look kind of silly, but I'm getting over it. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Angry Chicken. That was the most long-winded outro we've had in a while. Until next one. Until next time, everybody. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Not even drinking tonight. I just can't talk. Dragons have large butts. I fought a boss with large something else today. one of the abilities was charming you so you can't attack. So I learned what type of person my character is today. We got a Google Drive link. A Google Drive link. It's a Google Drive link. My shit from the last episode's in there. I'm just trying to figure out what Hat is sending.
It's the pinned link, but, figured a reminder would be cool.
Yeah. Exporting my wave. So, hey, chat, that was fun. How y'all doing? Welcome to the not cult, Joce.
It's totally a cult.
It's not a cult.
It's a cult.
It's not a cult.
It's a cult.
It's not a
I'm
cult.
going to get more water while you do it.
Well, we have this extremely well thought out argument. It is not a cult with an O. It's felt like a
You
cult.
are in denial.
No, I'm just reading what Hachikumo is reading now.
Oh.
The fact that he's right is, it's just luck. I am just thoroughly enjoying it, is all.
Seems fun.
It turns out I still like MMOs. I was just kind of done with one MMO.
Which is fine. And that was definitely the world I found myself in with ESO. Is I was having a totally fun time in a game that just wasn't WoW. And everyone seems to really like this one. The reason I resisted playing it for so long isn't because I think Final Fantasy is a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I'm actually worried it's too good and I don't have the time for it.
That's a responsible way to operate your life.
Up until the internet tells me what to do, of course.
I lightly suggested once. Once. It's not my fault that
You're
everyone
not
agreed with me.
The internet. Yeah.
It's not my fault. Everybody agreed with me. The crossover is pretty crazy. Like the amount of people who like Hearthstone, or in our case, like Heroes of the Storm, and they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, Final Fantasy, let's go." It's like when I always joke like it'd be nice to meet other video game cocktail nerds or other video game car nerds, but that's very rare. It is not rare to meet Hearthstone or Heroes of the Storm players that also like Final Fantasy 14.
I mean, I don't think too many Hearthstone people are tied up in like it has to be in Azeroth. Like I don't think it's about the lore. And so if you like MMOs, people that like MMOs are kind of MMO sluts. Like they'll just play whatever is good. Like they'll play a game that Amazon made because they don't give a shit. They'll fire up a new world. They'll do a Lost
That was
Ark.
terrible.
It was terrible.
I'm not saying. But did you both try it?
Oh, yep. They got my money.
Yeah.
They got my money.
You both took New World home for a night just to see. You don't have to call them back. I'm not here to judge.
I
don't
fight
care.
with a rapier.
Okay.
The combat animations were cool. That's about all I can say about New World.
Yeah. Unlike RTX 3090s when you were playing that game.
I wouldn't know. As a Scrub 2080 owner, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I finally got a 30 something. I didn't play New World either, and I had a 1080 Ti until like 2 weeks.
Oh, you've been looking forever because for a hot second I was looking for a 30, and you're like, "Hey, if you get the 30, I'll buy your 20."
Yeah. It's it was the last component I had to upgrade, and I finally got one. So I didn't do a 3090, I got a 3070, but
I'm just gonna ride this out till it dies, and then I'm switching off of Intel based CPUs.
You mean NVIDIA GPUs?
No. I'm gonna ride this build out until it just doesn't work anymore. And then I'm switching over to
you
AMD.
could bring the 2080. You could just take the card out and just bring it over. Like the 2080 is still perfectly fine.
Oh, I know, but when it's time, I'm assuming it'll still be impossible to get shit. So I'll probably just order a pre-built. Might as well upgrade my car while I'm at it.
Yeah, I mean, pre-builds I think are the way to go for 95% of people, anyways.
That's what I do. I have no interest.
You don't save money anymore by building it yourself, so you have to want to do it and know what you're doing, and most people aren't either. And even as a person that is both, I don't want to do either. Like someone built this, and I have upgraded a lot of parts of it because they broke, and I got mad, and then I woke up and I had a Best Buy receipt in my hand. I'm like, I don't know what happened, but like. But the goal was to buy a thing that was done and then not fuck with it.
You're like a werewolf, but instead of mauling people, you buy tech.
I wake up with a new like water cooler and a CPU backplate in my hand and a receipt, and it's like, what happened? Where am I? Where'd it go?
There's a blog post up.
Nice.
Or ready, not actually up yet.
I have Joce's audio.
Oh, we went with buff your bubbles, huh?
Yes, I wrote down.
There were no other options.
I am accepting other title suggestions, but that one is there right now. No, we don't have to think about it if we go with it.
It was a legitimate. At no point in my head was I thinking of titles, and so I was glad someone else was. I was like, okay, cool. Someone wrote something.
I was gonna do Let's Mango, but I don't think that would have translated all that well.
My high school art teacher used to always wear a shirt that had a tiny little print of like a drawn Volkswagen bus with some like motion lines behind it, and below it in like tiny little font, it just said "Van Go." And I still think about that to this day.
Yeah.
That and the fact I think we were, because he also taught photography, and I think it was the last year the high school offered film-based photography classes with the darkroom. And the darkroom was attached to the art room that we did all of our other art stuff in. And in photography class, I went to go turn on the red light, and all these massive roaches scattered. And I run out into the classroom. His name was Mr. Corby. I go, Mr. Corby, there's a roach in the darkroom, because he was looking at me weird. And he just looks at me deadpan and goes, well, quit smoking. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was retiring that year.
This is much more plausible now.
Yeah. 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 I still think about Mr. Corby. He was really entertaining.
A dark room is now a thing that people like kids see in movies that were set in the 90s. And they're like, why is it all red?
What a weird filter to use for this scene.
To be fair, it is a fascinating concept, but I do think the name should at least explain what's going on there.
I think emo kids being obsessed with Beetlejuice will keep the vernacular of dark room in the know for at least another few decades.
I'm going to take your word in this Beetlejuice thing, because this is the second time this has come up today unprompted.
Oh, it's one of my favorite, like, just moody quotes. I love it. I love Beetlejuice.
Well, you can't bring it up a third time, though. You don't do Beetlejuice 3 times.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Well done.
Like in the movie.
Because then it'll be showtime.
Mm-hmm. We could have had Michael Keaton on the show.
Could we?
You said it 3 times before we started recording.
All right. Listen, I cannot believe I have to explain this to you. Michael Keaton just played Beetlejuice. He is not the real Beetlejuice. God.
Who is?
Beetlejuice.
I would have settled for Michael Keaton.
All right. Anyways.
See, Atesh has the same question. He's in chat. He has the same question. By the way, that's one of the 2 designers on Duels. So be nice. The other one, by the way, I haven't ever spoken to them or seen them. I'm not sure they exist, but it's Brad.
Air quotes. Like that's something someone
you
would make
said
up.
that like it's the name of your mom's boyfriend.
Okay, there's
Brad.
an alleged Brad. I've never seen any proof beyond the allegation that there is a Brad.
Did I ever tell you this? This is it, and then I'm out of here. Did I ever tell you a story how I met Joe Mag?
You didn't.
All right, so Joe, great guy, really, really nice dude, wildly fascinating, always interesting to talk to. Used to be a designer on Brawl, on Tavern Brawl. I'm at a BlizzCon party, hanging out, drinking, doing normal BlizzCon shit. 2 days before, the most recent episode of The Angry Chicken went up, where we had quit the Brawl show. And I went on probably a 20-minute tirade about how Tavern Brawls were just utterly pointless, and I don't see myself ever playing the mode again. Which, by the way, I think I sucked at it. I don't think I've been to Tavern Brawl in like 4 years. I don't think I've clicked on that button.
Fair.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a bit. Anyway, it was one of my more like no filter rants about I think something just is useless and I'm just entirely uninterested. And so I'm at a BlizzCon party talking to people. Dude I've never met before comes up. It's like, yo, I love the Angry Chicken. You're Garrett, right? I'm like, yeah. So we're talking. And all they said was they're on the Hearthstone team. So we're talking and powwowing and just shooting the shit back and forth. And eventually it occurs to me I should ask them what they do on Hearthstone team. And I go, hey, so what do you do on the Hearthstone team? He goes, oh, well, yeah, I'm Joe. I'm the lead on Tavern Brawl. And I just like turned white. And I'm just like, did you hear the most recent episode? He's like, yeah, I heard it. I'm like, and you're being nice to me?
Still came to talk to me?
He's like, I've heard worse.
That's,
I was
I
like,
don't know how I feel about that reaction. But yes, super nice guy. Also has an adorable new baby. Did you see the picture?
oh my God. Oh, is this
It's
what getting
just
old
so
is?
cute.
I consider myself someone who doesn't like kids. And I keep seeing kids and I keep going, oh my God, that's adorable. I've been at Disney twice this year already, and there have been kids, and I've gone, oh my God, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen, instead of, God damn it, why are there kids here? But by the way, I understand. Yes.
The Garrett kids Disney reaction.
Yeah,
It's
Josh has
not
been there for it.
favorable.
Josh has been there for it. Like, oh, this place would be great if it wasn't for all these damn kids.
Yeah. It
Disney,
is
by the
kind
way, is what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
click the link in the Twitch chat. In the Twitch chat, there's a link. Go click
There's
it.
a link in the
Click it right
Twitch,
now.
Twitch chat. Yeah.
Go click it right now.
I think it's. I've seen this. Oh, I haven't seen this picture. These are new pictures.
Aw.
It's so cute.
That is a cute baby. That is a cute damn baby. Yep. Well, this isn't creepy at all. We're just talking about someone's cute baby on stream. At least we're not showing it.
It's Joe Bag. It's Joe. You had a relevant story about when he worked in the game that you were shitting on. It's fine.
Yes. Anyway, that's a long way to go for me to say that when I hear people say that video game developers like take things too personally or don't have thick skin, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
The only thing that's crazier to me is when people call game developers lazy. It's like, it is an incredibly demanding job constantly, and they could get paid way more to do way less in any other kind of tech, and they only do this because they really want to make games, despite the fact that people shit in them all the time. And calling them lazy is like the least accurate thing you can possibly do.
Yeah, and anything that involves that many people working for a singular goal, it's just there's a certain point. It's luck that the final product is good. Movies, games, anything made by Google, which half of it gets sunset and forgotten about. Like, yeah, it's
Rip Google Reader. Pour one out.
Stadia. Apparently, who would have saw that coming?
Okay, well, you said good things, but
Now I'm gonna
that's
go
not-
to a party. I'm gonna meet a really nice person. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, I worked on Stadia."
More like Godia. Huh?
On that note, have a wonderful
Yeah, okay.
night.
Bye, everybody.